I have had the OneTwoFit pull-up tower for about 6 months now, and I want to do a review of it from that time to see if it's something I recommend for your home gym. Now, this is a standalone piece of home workout equipment. What makes it great is that you can collapse it down to easily fit within most closets. The one in my new home apartment is only 2 feet by about 8 feet. So I can actually fit it in just the 2-foot side, right up against the wall, taking up very, very little space, which is awesome when you're trying to save space in a small area, like the room where I work in, which is my home office. Not only that, but this home workout equipment allows me to do multiple exercises in my personal workout program. The main ones includes, of course, the pull-ups and its variations. You can also do dips because it has attachments with it. You can do push-ups with the push-up handles on the bottom. And you can do inverted rows. Note, you will probably want to remove the pull string that's on this device in order to make inverted rows a little bit better. Now, I bought the OneTwoFit pull-up bar off of Amazon.com back on December 15th of 2024, and at the time it was listed at $189.99. However, I did have a coupon code at the time that dropped it down by $40, and then after Washington state taxes, it came out to $163.04 for me to purchase this for my home gym. And the main reason I did was to get off my door frames. I do have the cross grips by J-Flex, but as I've been adding in weight to my backpack and making it heavier and heavier, I'm trying to kind of move away from door frames just in case one day it doesn't decide to play well with me and I go crashing to the floor, breaking my kneecaps. And for the price, you do get the base that also has the bars you can raise up in order to do pull-ups. You get the crossbar, which screw in at the top. You also get dip handles that go right into the device itself, and it has the push-up handles already installed on the feet for you to use. And with that, I ran a test to see how long it takes to set up and take down, and it takes about 3 minutes. So not too bad, as long as you set up near the beginning of your workout, or maybe you're just doing one thing. Like for my day one, I tend to just do dips and inverted rows, so I only need the dip bar handles. So it's nice in order to have a quick setup for something that doesn't, again, require my door frame to use, especially for vertical pulling exercises. Now, one thing to know about this pull-up bar is it is rated to support about 360 pounds. So if you're someone putting on a lot of weight, you might need to watch out for this. I personally weigh about 200 pounds as of shooting this video. However, I'm not putting that much weight in a backpack to get to 360. 160 extra pounds would be a lot to put in a backpack. I'm throwing in like 15, 20 extra pounds to do my pull-ups. But that's enough for me. I'm still well away from hitting that 360 pound limit. So with that, let's take a look at what I like about the OneTwoFit pull-up bar. So first off, it does exactly what I want it to do, and that allows me to do pull-ups without the use of my doorway or door frame. Again, the big issue there is that door frames aren't really built to do pull-ups from. Yes, you can get away with it. I've done it for years in many, many different locations. However, they really aren't meant for that. So if you are able to get off them to avoid injury or damaging your door frame, you may want to do so, and this is a decent option, especially for the price. I have found others, but they're usually pretty pricey, or they take up a ton of space. This one is kind of the best of both worlds in terms that it doesn't take up much space, and the cost is pretty good for what you get here, especially since you can do multiple exercises with it. I also like that this device is pretty simple to set up. Yes, I would like to see upgrades to where you don't have separate pieces like different bolts and stuff you take in and out. I wish the bar had a better way to store with the device instead of having to take it off completely. But those are minor things when something like this does exist and allows me to easily do pull-ups from home. So again, I think the cost is pretty good. And also the setup of this is decently easy, especially for a starter kind of product for this company. So that is really cool, and maybe they can make some upgrades to this in the future. Now, this pull-up bar does have 9 different settings you can choose from for the height, which is pretty cool. It goes up to something like 88 inches, I believe, so it can go pretty high. So me being about 6 feet tall, I'm really 5'11", but just under 6 feet tall, can pretty much do a pull-up at almost full length, which is pretty hard to find, especially for home pull-up bars or the ones you do on your door frame. Not only that, but it easily holds my weight. There's a little bit of shakiness as it is a freestanding device that, again, can fold down, so they haven't nailed that yet, but it's only a minimal shake, and I was able to actually enhance it by locking it properly. In my first video, I actually had it shaking a bit too much because it came unlocked while using it, but in this one, it shakes a bit less, even on a carpeted surface, because I figured that out. And lastly, it does the one pet peeve thing I have, and that is that it fits in my closet. Yes, I only have a depth of about 2 feet, and the width of about 8 feet, but I do share it with my wife. So we split that in half, about 2 feet by 4 feet, and it easily fits in that area of the closet, right on one full side, and then my dumbbells are next to it. So with that, let's jump over to the things that I don't like about the OneTwoFit pull-up bar. So the first one is that it is shaky, but again, this isn't as shaky as it was when I first used it. So when I first built the product, I didn't realize that one of the locking mechanisms on the right side, which I guess is the con here, can sometimes unlock and kind of fold out even when you're using it. So sometimes I notice that it comes down, and when that happens, it removes the tension in the setup to keep it in place, making it pretty shaky. It stays up, of course, but it makes it really shaky to use, especially I noticed it when doing dips. So just make sure when you go to do pull-ups or dips or inverted rows that all of the locks are in place and that they're not falling down and could potentially come unlocked while you're using it. Probably one of my biggest pet peeves right now with the device is the size of the handles, especially the pull-up and dip bars. They're just too small. I did get some comments from people recommending getting fat grips, which I'm actually looking into as a potential option to get around this. But if you're someone with really big hands, the size of those handles is really small and can kind of dig into your palms and just be uncomfortable. It's not like you can't do the exercises, you still can. It's just uncomfortable to do so, at least for me. So it's something you might want to look into, getting those fat grips, if this is something that you run into. Now, there are multiple versions of the OneTwoFit pull-up tower. The one I have is the cheapest version, and with that, the back feet that keep it in place don't fold up. However, there are 2 other versions where this does. So I am actually looking at those versions because I'm kind of jealous that the other ones have the ability to fold the front and back feet, as that would make it even smaller for my closet, and I could fit like my my step in there a bit easier. But I don't want to pull the trigger yet, but I am researching. Maybe I will spend a little bit of extra money because it is more costly to get those, to get that brand. The only other thing I don't like is that the dip bars are more like the captain's chair exercise version. So you can do dips with them, but they have like the padding for your forearms if you're doing like the captain's chair ab exercise. So again, little cons here and there, but I am looking at that as a potential option to upgrade to. And lastly, this does advertise that it can do inverted rows, which you can, but I highly recommend that if you want to, you remove the pull string for the setup and take down. Yes, it does make it easier to set it or take it down when you're done. You can pull the string and it kind of collapses the middle so that you can push the whole thing together. However, it's not that important. So what I did is I actually went and just got some basic tools, removed the bolts from it and then took off that pull string. And then just put the bolts back on and it's good to go. And now I don't have to worry about that being in the way when doing inverted rows anymore. Yes, I do have to manually lift the bottom cross beam in order to collapse it. But again, super, super minor thing. Doesn't take any really extra time. I just have to lift my foot and it's good to go. And the last con I have, and that's going to be with any fixed piece of equipment, is that you can't set the width of this at all. Basically, you are stuck regardless of your body size with the width, especially for dips and inverted rows that this is built for. So again, for me, for something like inverted rows or even, again, dips, it's actually pretty good for my size. But if you were someone who's really small or really short or really tall, you may find you want to be wider or narrower. But again, you're stuck. You're not able to change that. So that could be a breaking point for you if you want to do those exercises and it doesn't fit your frame. Again, I'm about 5'11", just under 6 feet tall, and it's good for me. So if you're around that height, it's probably going to be good for you as well, or maybe a few inches here and there around that. But if you're someone maybe like 5'6" or like 6'6", it may not be the best option for you, as you may want, again, like a wider or narrower setup for your dips and inverted rows. So my personal final thoughts, I love this thing. Again, it fits in my closet, easy to take out, pretty easy to set up. I wish that you didn't have as many separate pieces when taking it down, because I do have to remember to put them in a place where I can set them up next time, so I don't want to lose those pieces. But I hope in the future this company can keep upgrading and extending on this. They do have multiple versions. They're more costly and they have reasons I don't get them, but I might look into some in the future just because of the ability to fold it even further down than what mine can currently go to. But ultimately, this option, this piece of equipment, is the best in terms of a minimalist home gym setup to set up and take down and save on space, in my opinion. I've used things like the bull bar, I think one other one, but the main ones I've ever used before this still take up a lot of space. Like the bull bar goes straight down into kind of like a big square setup, but still takes up a lot on the floor of your closet. And this one just packs into a nice corner of my office closet and really just stays out of the way. So I highly recommend you take a look at this if you're looking for a standalone pull-up bar option.